Set 5 will be played on Naro Station. Spawning in the top right-hand position, the red Protoss for STX Seoul. His name is Classic.
His opponent is Blue Zerg, spawning in the bottom left position, playing for Kespa teammate. His name is Savage.
I want his play to reflect his name. I want him to be very like Savage-like when he plays, and just like kind of tears his opponents apart.
In fact, we haven't seen that in the previous game at all. It was like he was trying to try to hit and run his opponent, and it did work out in the end, but it was so risky. Savage could have made it an easy work out of Deer with the Mutas, the Zerglings, and the Hydras, but he was just running around everywhere, not destroying the buildings properly, and that pretty much allowed Deer to get a free shot on the extractors. It was just lucky that he found the pylon at the last second and took it out.
You know what? Actually, Savage was so far ahead in that last game.
Yes.
That he could have engaged the army head-on and won. And I was really surprised that he didn't try to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you
really
think about it, if you really think about it, Mutas base race equals Zerg wins.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Unless your name is Shine and you're playing a guy named Bisu, then it won't work.
That's a different story.
Well, no, it's still a base race, man.
Well, it was a base race, but the Mutas came in a little bit later into the game.
All right, looks like we have a hatch first once again here from Savage. Not afraid to go for that opening. Will it be punished this time around?
Oh.
Ooh. Oh, okay, I think he's scouting for proxies.
Okay.
How sick would that be if he went for a third hatch before pool? Like, that wouldn't work because his opponent's going gateway first.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty crazy if he did.
Well, he's just scouting around, trying to see if there's any scouting probe coming in that direction. And now he has up to 200 minerals, so let's see what he's going to go for.
I don't know. Okay, he's
there we
going
go,
for
spawning pool.
Yeah, I think this map is too small and it's a two-player map. If this was Fighting Spirit, I could see him doing it 2 times in a row.
Actually, I could see him taking a... Yeah, that's possible, especially since if you take the gas at the third base, it's a high-yield gas on that map.
Indeed.
So it's fantastic for Zerg players to do it.
All right. Well, it looks like our Zerg player Savage, he's going to scout his opponent, doing the 1-gate expand opener, not the Forge expand.
And as soon as he sees that, he throws down his gas.
Yeah, that's what you should do. You have to have those speed things to be safe against some early timings that your Protoss opponent can do.
And it also works out for Zerg players as well if they try to sneak in some Zerglings inside their opponent's main base if there's some crack in the wall.
All right, well, we got a lot of minerals saved up for our Zerg player. I'm wondering if he's going to take an expansion soon here. All right, he's grabbing 2 queens instead. There is Argo. And he did take out Trap in set 2, but then in set 3, he fell to Deer.
Now, that was just a build order loss, so he didn't take it hard. Instead, he was like, oh, okay, I lost, and it sucks, but...
He wasn't, he was like chatting with his teammates like right after the game, kind of like giggling and smiling. He's like, I lost this
build, and it's like, what might be a better way to defend against it? Oh, okay, we're good.
All right, Zergling speed on the way here. Just taking 2 of those drones off the gas, putting them on mining so he can be a little bit more efficient and greedy. Looks like we're going to have a Stargate opener here. And if we're getting the wall off here, I like the wall off, but it's very revealing what your strategy is going to be.
That's what's surprising, and the Zergling's going to scout everything.
He even clicked on that. He's like, oh, is that a Stargate?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for telling me.
I'm actually surprised that Classic is using that as part of the wall, but that also hides the gateway count.
It could mean he's just going to go with a Void Ray opener.
Yeah.
And go into maybe
just
more
doesn't
Sky Toss.
care about the fact that Stargate has been revealed.
Yeah, that is not an airtight wall, or a ling-tight wall, I guess. Oh, well, it was there, I guess.
It was around in that position. He was just double-checking and then clicking the minerals.
All right, so Savage, he's continuing the drone up here, just focusing on his economy. You have a Phoenix on the way here, and it's going to be used to scout his opponent. The Zergling moving around the map looking for any type of potential weird shenanigans.
Usually if a Protoss player opens up with this build, they go for harassment off of 3 gateways or 4 gateways, trying to punish their opponent's economy a little bit.
Do you have Roach Warren on the way for Savage here? I'm not sure if he's going to use that to be aggressive earlier on in the game. It's quite possible considering how small the map is. I would actually, I would like to see that kind of play. I think it could work.
Yeah, well, for now, Savage is just running around the map trying to see if there's any proxy pylons that his opponent threw down for the aggressive play, and he's not finding any because Classic didn't go for one.
Yeah. Classic continuing to pump out Phoenixes here. Just going to go ahead and grab that map control. And 5 roaches on the way here for Savage.
I mean, he's not overcommitting over here. He's just trying to get enough roaches out, trying to say, if I miss the pylon, well, I need some units to buy more time to get more Zerglings, more roaches out. And in fact, Classic, he doesn't have a 4 pylon, but he is going to try to harass his opponent.
Roaches here.
Yeah, he's trying to harass his opponent, but that's a lot more roaches being added in, like you said.
That's actually going to be really good for Savage here because the attack is going to be quite annoying, and the Queen's going to fall down, looks like here. Spore Crawlers are not yet complete. They're going to be completed pretty soon here, though.
Second lift, and the Queen is down. Now the roaches are revealed to Classic, and one roach just running away from the whole pack. Zergling's trying to save that single roach, but that's 4 Zealots.
Yep, the Zealots are going to be annoying, but the roaches can eventually just out-micro them. We have more roaches on the way here as they complete.
Yeah,
a Void Ray is being created in response to this, and nice job by Savage, going to pick off a lot of these units here. The roaches are going to go counterattack, and I don't know how
this
much
is looking scary.
Yeah, it is. Like, there's actually nothing at Classic's base here. He could just straight up die.
Nope, no cannons. Maybe a Nexus cannon, and
oh,
the Zerglings get through.
Uh-oh, this is bad. The Zerglings are going to go into the main base and start wrecking havoc on this mineral line. At the same time, roaches are going to go into the natural and start assaulting that as well. And the Nexus cannon's down in the main, the natural, not the main.
And the Zerglings should not go down the ramp because that's going to pretty much suicide into the Nexus right there. But this was allowed. Well, look at this. Roach is trying to get up the ramp.
All right, looks like they're going to be able to get through the ramp, but double Nexus Cannon going on now, and the roaches are going to fall very fast here. Savage looks like he is kind of underestimating his opponent's defense there. He will get a few more probe kills, but I'm not sure if that was entirely worth it.
Yeah, this, just pushing up was a nice idea, but he also realized that once he was at the ramp, and Nexus Cannon went in the main base, there was no way out for the roaches, so he just has to commit and try to get as many probes as possible. But behind this, he took 3 hatcheries easily. It didn't go punished at all. There's a Hydra Den behind this, and he's just making a lot more Zerglings.
Yeah, I like this play.
Yeah,
he's also getting the roach speed.
This is really nice for Savage.
I guess he's going to get enough Hydras out to deal with the Phoenixes and the Void Ray there, and then continue to pump out Roachling.
In fact, that one Void Ray was for defensive purpose, and now is useless.
Yep. An Evo Chamber on the way here. Zerglings seeing if they can run in, but will be stopped by those sentries in that Immortal.
Classic learned this lesson.
He did. Luckily, the lesson didn't cost him the game. Oh, nice job by Savage there. He's going to force a cancel there. And oh, actually, the Evolution Chamber was just picked off there. And that's going to have to be remade.
That's a little annoying for the Zerg player, but certainly getting his expansion denied is a lot more annoying than getting an Evo Chamber killed. And at this point now, behind this, Savage is making out to 11 Hydras. There's upgrades going on right now. Classic trying to secure his third base, but we don't see any Colossus out by him. He only has 1 Void Ray.
This is going to be annoying. The Hydras, can they move in time, or will the Phoenix be able to snipe them off? Oh, delayed reaction from Classic, and that's going to be the end of that Void Ray. Ling's moving in here. Nope, they didn't really do much. They tried to weaken the Nexus. It almost worked.
Almost. Now with the Roach speed being finished and 10 more Hydras out on the way, let's see what Savage is going to go for. So far, he's just macroing out crazy at this point, getting all these units out because he's fully saturated in 3 bases. He also gets a complete scouting inside his opponent's base. Also sees that the Colossus is out on the way.
Yep, sees the extended thermal lances being researched, as well as the Forge upgrades, so it's going to let him know what's going on here. All right, the Hydra speed just finished up here, so we're going to see a timing from Savage. Will it be enough to force a cancel on this third base, though? That's the real question. It's
pure Hydra at this point, so if he gets force fielded out, then you might see a same scenario where the Zerg player has a lot of units,
too much,
and it's not going to work out because of the force fields. And do remember, the map is Naro Station. There is a long distance from the natural to the third base. However, there's so many small chokes here and there, so that it's harder for the Zerg players to engage into Protoss army.
Yeah.
And actually, Savage was doing a nice job pulling back with the units, and there was a little area where Savage could have tried to engage into Classic's main army because of the large open area, but Savage didn't risk it because it was pure Hydras.
All right, so we have the Spire on the way here. It's getting pretty close to completion. Hydras try and they kill off a Phoenix or 2 there. The Phoenix count is going to need to be dwindled if we're going to see Savage go for the Mutatech switch, which we saw last game. He's got a lot of minerals and gas saved up, so I have a feeling he's going to go for those mutas once again.
Yeah. Well, minerals, well, if he has a lot of gas saved up, it's most likely going to be mutas. But you also have to be careful because this time around, the Protoss player made Phoenixes.
That's true. All right, so what we're going to see up the 7, 9, 10 Corruptors here. That's going to completely counter this Colossi and those Phoenixes there. I don't know, maybe that's an overcommitment here, but there is another Colossus on the way, so I guess they'll remain useful.
And the fact is, if your opponent doesn't transition into complete Sky Toss, then those 10 Corruptors can easily turn into Brewlords later in the game.
Yeah, they certainly can.
They say Brewlord is not a good unit anymore because of the Tempest, but if your opponent doesn't make any Tempest, then Brewlords are still fantastic against Protoss army.
Yeah. And so we're going to see a Roach Hydra Corruptor composition for our Kespa teammate player, Savage. And from the STX side, just going, that's like a pretty heavy amount of sentries. So he's going to have a lot of sentries, he's going to have some Zealots. Stalkers added into the mix with Colossus support from the back.
At this point, adding more Colossus might be just giving away free army to your opponent, so it might be better to add in more Immortals, and that's what Classic is doing at this point. Behind this, he also needs to take up a little bit more into Templars.
Right. The Overseers see the fake Colossus here, the hallucinated ones, and now Savage moving in for the attack. The force fields are solid, but the Colossus are just getting killed by these Corruptors here.
Yeah, and that's the only thing Savage really wanted to do at this point, keep the Colossus count down. So now he doesn't have main army, but he still has a good number of Hydras. He has 20 Roaches coming out. And once he falls back to the 4th base or the 3rd base, he's going to have the reinforcements, no problem. So the attack went towards Savage's favor. Because Classic, he just lost 3 Colossus for free.
Yeah, look at the supplies
not for free, but, you know, you get what I mean.
The trade was good for Classic.
Yes.
And now the supply is 194 to 147 here.
And this is looking more grim for Classic right now, as he has 2 Immortals out. He has a 3rd Immortal coming out with the 2nd Robo, but he doesn't have any units that could do the AoE damage. No Storms, no Colossus.
That's going to be the real kicker here. Roach is now moving towards that 3rd base. He's going to go for a surround. Can he make it work?
Well, there's the next cannon now. Nice force fields going down on top of the ramp.
Yep, they're able to trap half of that army pretty much behind the force field wall. And Savage needs to move back here. He needs to regroup his forces and do the attack once more. He has to drain that force field energy.
He needs to. He really needs to. He just needs to bait out the force fields. And for Savage, it worked out well because Classic didn't trap half of the army. Instead, it was just saying, do not get here. I don't want to engage right now.
That's the thing. It's actually very hard for the Zerg player to attack in here properly. The chokes are pretty small. And even going for the double-pronged attack, attacking from 2 sides, that's exactly what you need to do here. Nice. Never mind.
That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Classic realizing his mistake. He's like, oh, all right. I actually have to lift these up one by one.
Yeah, sometimes you have a lot of Phoenixes and you're like, okay, I'm going to lift up a lot at once and the AI is going to do the damage for me. But there are times where you just lift up every single one of the probes.
Nice job baiting those force fields, and now Savage attacking at multiple different locations here, forcing his opponent everywhere to defend, try to kind of defend at all different locations here. Phoenixes go down, only 1 left, and oh, is this the engagement that Savage was looking for here? He's got a nice arc right now, and it looks like there's not much force fields left.
Yeah, there's only 4 right now, but Savage also just slightly out of position, so he's going to have to fall back a little bit, force the units to come up the ramp.
I don't know, the engagement looks pretty solid, though, for STX player Classic. I think it's just going to be able to mow down this army.
Yeah, and there's a Colossus in the back just eating away on every single one of those Hydras. So now the supply has flipped to Classic's favor, 152 to 147. We do have 17 Hydras and 11 Roaches being made right now, but the engagement went towards Classic's favor.
Definitely did. I think that we need to see a lot of Zerglings and Hydras against this army mix, along with the Corruptors to take out this Colossi. But the AoE, if he goes up to 3 Colossus or even 4 here, then it's going to be a lot harder to engage this without some higher tech units.
Now, Classic also needs to make sure he takes a 4th base pretty soon. He is mined out at the main base, starting to mine out at the natural. Same use for Savage. He has 4th base up. He doesn't have that many drones over there, and I would like to see him take a 5th base.
Looks like our Protoss player is just doing the old, I'm going to sit on my base and be very defensive about things and not attack, and just focus on defending until I have the army I want, and then I will attack.
Yeah, well, this is a really scary looking army, but Classic and Savage cannot attack into it. Instead, he's going to use some Roaches down here, 6 Roaches trying to attack into that Nexus over there.
The Protest player going for the +3 attack right now. His upgrades aren't too bad right now. He's got +1 armor, +2 attack. The Zerg player, on the other hand, I believe is only at 1-1 at this point, so his upgrades aren't amazing. And he has the Infestation Pit, so he could go into Hive soon.
Yeah, I don't... In fact, I'm just surprised that we're not seeing Hive as soon as the Infestation Pit finished. But he is going for the Swarmhost.
He is. Now, Savage doesn't have much defense at that 4th base there. The Zealot attacks could be pretty annoying here.
Yeah, but the units are not out of position, so he's going to lose a couple of drones over there, but he should not lose a hatchery at all.
Alright, Zealot's going to come in. Drones instantly being pulled off here. Used kind of like to delay his opponent. And now the Zerglings are coming in with the Roaches, Hydras, everything coming across the map here.
But this also puts Classic in a nice position to move out on the map.
He's going to get some map control doing this, and the Swarm Hosts are added into the army here, but he needs that critical mass before they can really become too useful. Only having a few of them is not going to cut it. He also needs to get more Corruptors in this mix, but that's going to be it. He's going to go for the attack. Will it work? The force fields are solid here. One Colossus goes down, but it looks like our Zerg player Savage has to back up here.
Yeah, this is so strong. The Swarmhost, you said you need a critical amount, but Classic is not going to allow it. The Corruptors are eating away on the Colossus. 2 Colossus gets taken off, but the ground army is so strong.
GG. Savage taking the 5th set there. Excuse me, Classic taking the 5th set. Brain fart there.
I was like, wait a minute, I thought that was a Protoss logo at the end, not the Zerg logo.
It was a Protoss logo.
Classic losing a lot of Colossus, but he kept his composure, playing really solid, and the engagements after the first engagement from Savage always went towards his favor.
Indeed they did, so yeah, I think that was just a case of Classic having superior control over his opponent.
Superior control and forcing the fight where he wanted to, and also not over-committing to the force fields where, you know, sometimes the players, they get too greedy and try to cut half the army, except half of the army to crush the Protoss army. So he was just saying, you know what, I don't want to fight right now, so I'm going to force field completely.
Yeah. The force fields were really good. That was definitely a big turning point there for the game for Classic. His force fields weren't on par this game. I could have seen him lose a lot earlier. Savage not really adapting to his opponent's playstyle, I feel, as well.
So with Kespa teammate down to last player, they have to send them out.
It's going to be a Terran player, I'll tell you guys that.
And his name is Ty.
There he is, Ty being sent out. The ace player for Kespa teammate and their last hope of defeating STX Seoul. And he's, okay, so if he beats Classic, that leaves 1 player left for STX Seoul, and I think we know who's going to get sent out in that position.
And it's going to be a crazy TBT on set number 7, but Classic can actually end the series by taking out Ty on Newkirk Redevelopment Precinct.
Yes, if he can take out Ty. Okay, guys, we have to go into a quick commercial break. When we get back, the 6th set between STX Seoul and Kespa teammate. Don't go anywhere. This is the SK Planet Pro League.